interview presented by Alabama Wrestling Forums. I'm Jackson Bass, here with 1 through 4A state champ Dylan Melendez. How you doing today, Dylan?
Doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good. So let me start off by asking you, what got you into wrestling?
Well, my parents and, Coach Knott got me into wrestling also. One of my first wrestling coaches put me out in a new sport, and I fell in love with it.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. So obviously your first coach here was Coach Knight, who's now coaching over at Southside Gadsden. What are some of the things he gave you in your foundation when you started the sport?
He gave me a lot of practice with wrestling. He would let me stay after practice was over to get me extra help and learning the new moves and stuff.
What kind of extra help?
Well, he would give me conditioning so I can be in better conditioning coming from football to wrestling. Well, that's pretty much it, just more conditioning, a lot conditioning.
I know that's a big, conditioning for football is a lot different than conditioning for wrestling. I know, I played football. I was really bad at it though. They put me out at guard, but I always used to be like a real pansy on the line. And then eventually I got to it, but at that point I'd already focused on wrestling. But, what's the biggest transition between playing football and wrestling? What are some of the things that go into each other?
That's what helps when you're on defense going for tackles with the double legs, for sure. That really helps. I've had to use the double leg on a couple tackles this year.
You flaring it up so they fall on their dome?
Yeah, I'm going to do a suplex on them.
So obviously Piedmont is a team in football that's they're multiple time state champs in the last coming years. How does having a championship mindset in football translate over to having a championship mindset in wrestling?
Well, I hope it bring it over and bring more kids over here so we can be one of the top 10, top 5. I just want to be the number one team, how Hoover, Vestavia Hills is all of them. I think we can be a team if we can get a lot more people out here and get them interested in the sport, because I would love this sport to grow.
So obviously your junior year you had a jump, you splashed in the water, you placed fourth in the state tournament. Where did that confidence come from?
Well, it came from my new coach, Coach Paul Lynch. He saw the ability of what I could do in myself, and he put all that on me and made me push for greatness. And so I just used that to light a fire in me to do my very best.
That's awesome to hear. So what was your immediate reaction to hearing that you guys were going to be in 1 through 4A this year?
As soon as I heard that, I thought I could have a state championship in my hands if I put in extra work, go to camps and everything, and do my best at practices.
Did you go into any camps this offseason?
Oh yes, I went to the Virginia Beach camp, and I've been going to a camp here in White Plains. Eric's camp is called EAWC. It's good.
I know Eric has done a phenomenal job. I know he started wrestling back when he's been wrestling in Alabama forever, but he started coaching a little later, or when I started wrestling, and he did a phenomenal job with people like Christian Knopp and a lot of those Eastern Alabama wrestlers. What are some of the major keys to success that Coach Eric Lee has done for you?
Oh, he put me through really, really tough, intense conditioning stuff and put me in tournaments that I know I would get whooped in, but to make me a better wrestler. Like the Super 32 tournament he put me in, he knew I would get my butt whooped, but it was just there for me to get practice in.
That's awesome. I know that's a pretty tough tournament, especially for the Southeast. But, so obviously, Coach Lynch came in your junior year, and he's taken over a program that hasn't inherently seen a lot of team success, but he's definitely grown, of course, getting you your first state champs since 2013. What has he done after coming into the program to change it?
Oh, he's done a lot. He's got this team better than what has been the past 3 years. We haven't had a winning record. We went 31-9 this year. The last time we had a winning record was in 2009. I think that's when they won, or 2012 is when we had a winning record. Well,
obviously it's been a long time coming for Piedmont to have a lot more success on the map. Obviously, they've had a lot of standout performers, but it's great to get a fresh person in here. So my next question is going to be, obviously, you're wrestling in you're wrestling in college coming up. You're wrestling at Huntingdon. Why'd you pick Huntingdon?
I picked Huntingdon because they have stuck with me since my junior year, giving me text messages and all that, keeping updates with me. They'd be coming to my tournaments and watching me wrestle. So I knew that was the place that I would love to go.
Was there anything particularly that you really liked about Coach Oliver outside of, obviously he kept in touch with you constantly?
Well, he's a really good man. He showed me around the place at Huntingdon, and he's just a good overall person in general.
Definitely. I know I've talked to Coach Oliver a couple times. He's a solid technician. He's just done a phenomenal job starting over that program at Huntingdon after leaving Southern Methodist College, JUCO college over in South Carolina. So, obviously the big question is, what did it feel like winning your first state title?
Oh, I was so much enjoyed. Man, I don't even know how I could explain it. After I won, I, of course, did the backflip and landed on my face, of course. But I got up, shook coach's hand, went over and hugged my coach and he pushed me to get there. He was the one, him and my dad. And after that, I went and shared it with my family and my teammates.
So obviously Huntingdon has, I think I counted, and they have 8 recruits from the state of Alabama. What are you most excited for, getting a lot of guys from the state on this new freshman class coming up?
Oh, I'm just ready to go and wrestle with them, try to get each other better. I wrestled Jamal Winnington. I can't wait to wrestle with him. Me and him are partners. We're trying to push ourselves for greatness.
Awesome. So obviously, you're not stopping now. You wrestled at Alabama right after. What are you telling yourself constantly to keep yourself motivated, even though you're done with high school? And I know you're going into college, but what's keeping your mindset going that I've got to train all the time?
I just gotta keep myself better than I was before. I know the college level is a lot different than the high school level. It's gonna be much harder, so I gotta push myself to be at that level or better. Because I want to go into the Olympics and become an Olympic wrestler.
That's awesome. I know that's a lot of things that a lot of college athletes lack is I'm training to be a national champ, which sometimes you're not going to get the goal if you set to be that. So you've got to train at a higher standard as to be a world or Olympic champ, which I think that's really awesome, man. So I have a segment on my show called The Weigh-In where I ask hot button topics that are going on in Alabama wrestling today. So the first one I'm going to ask you is, do you think wrestling in Alabama should be one division or multiple divisions? And if multiple divisions, how do you say we split it up?
Oh, I think it should be in multiple divisions. I like how it was 1A through 5A where it's tough competition, 5A, and then it should be 6A and 7A together because that's going to be a good clash right there. It's going to be a really good clash. You're going to have Jaden New in the 5A going against, I wish they would go against Corey Land, them two going and battling out against each other. But in 6A, 7A, I probably would like to see Zach Fleury, and I'd have to say one of the Poe brothers.
I think that'd be pretty cool. I think Jaden's gotten kind of fat now, so I don't think he'll ever wrestle Corey Land again. But I'm picking on you, Jaden. I know I just talked to you a couple days ago. Come on, man. You wrestled 170 a couple weeks ago. You're getting a little chunky. So my next question is, do you think athletes should be able to go to their club in season?
I think they should, but I also don't think they should because they could get injured by going to tournaments or during practices, and where you can come here and practice, and after practice you can put in more extra work and be safe and all that.
I definitely think it's been a really weird year for everyone, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic hit us last season. How did COVID-19 affect your team?
We had to wear masks during practices. As soon as we start getting drilling, we had to take our masks off. We'd wrestle each other. Water breaks, put our masks back on. We had to stay 6 feet apart. We'd cut squares in the wrestling room so we'd be separated and all. So in case someone gets it, it'll be that square instead of everyone else in the team.
I mean, obviously, that's a great thing to hear that you guys are all constantly keeping yourself safe out here. So, Well, Dylan, before I let you go, is there anything you want to say to my viewers?
Well, all I gotta say is Alabama Wrestling Forum. This is the best wrestling page I've ever seen. I really love it. I mean, y'all should stay in contact with them. It's real good.
Well, I really appreciate that, Dylan, and thank you all you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay cool out there wrestling.